So these are the concerns that appears a lot when you try to become an EMI TA. So for me, the most important mindset, the rule number one, and there's no rule number two, there's only one. The most important thing is to see EMI classes. It is more about teaching and learning than English itself. So you are not an English teacher trying to inform the students English, but you're trying to inform them about the content. So you know that EMI stands for English as a medium of instruction. So the focus is actually on instruction, but sometimes, most of the time, we are terrified by the idea that you have to carry out the content in English. So, we can talk a bit about the role of English in EMI courses. So keep in mind that even though it's conveyed in English, it's not about teaching English. It's not language-oriented class. It's not like we learn English in middle school or high school. So you are now looking for precision of English from the students. It's okay for them to speak a little bit not fluent or even a little bit broken English. It's fine. So of course, you are not assessing students' English proficiency. So this is the thing that we are now looking for. But instead, we have to keep in mind that we have to identify and minimize the language barrier. So it's okay. They have some kind of obstacles when they try to convey their idea, but you can identify that as a TA and just to give more support to them. And the second point is that you can adjust your language. When you realize that students are they look confused or they just cannot understand what you are talking about, you can adjust your language to paraphrase it or simplify it. Just make it easier for them to get what the main idea. And sometimes when students, especially when giving discussion or they try to give feedback or they try to say something, they raise their hand in class, well, they just cannot put it in the right form. You can just focus on the meaning and you can ask, oh, do you mean that, blah, blah, blah. Or I guess your idea is, am I right? Like that. And students will be more, they get more courage to try to say what they really want, but not hindered by the language part. Okay. And the last part is very, very important. It's not only in EMI class, it's all about teaching, learning. You need to do constant comprehension check. For example, I can pause here and ask you, oh, so far I have been talking about 6-7 minutes already. Am I making myself clear? Any questions? If you have any questions, you can comment in the chat box and I can reply to you like that. So do constant comprehension check is especially essential in English as a medium of instruction. Okay. Also let me know if I'm talking too fast. That's my problem sometimes. Okay. And here comes a very, very important theory or idea. It's called multimodality. So have any of you heard of this term before? You can give me a thumbs up. If no, it's okay. And I will introduce it a bit. So multimodality means how the 5 modes of communication in one medium. And I would like to start from linguistic. It is still the easiest way, the easiest approach. So you see this text, the written text, it is the linguistic input. It is the language itself. It's written down. So if you can read, then you get the input. And the second one will be the oral. So what is oral? Oral is to hear something from your ears, like an audio input. So if I am not doing a multimodal input right now, I will do this. So you see nothing. And from now on, when I say whatever I say, you need to really listen actively in order to get what I'm talking about. However, when it comes to a very like professional or difficult part, if I want to mention a term in education like IBDP, which stands for International Baccalaureate Diploma Program. Okay, when I say something like this, you can be very lost. Like, what are you talking about? What I for what? B for what? And this kind of input is not really like effective for learning. So you need some kind of visual input, visual support for you to get the idea more like easily and effectively. So the third mode would be visual. So compare this to images. The left-hand side, it's only some kind of arrangement in the circles, but more like the linguistic, only the text. But on the right-hand side, bear with the low quality, but there is the pictures for you to understand what it means easier. So if you read this, you need to read the text. But if you see the picture on the right-hand side, you see the book, then you can refer to, oh, can be the text. You see the melody, oh, okay, it's something you hear. And the visual is the picture, the image. Okay, so these are a kind of example that you can make use of when you need to give instructions to students either in class or you want to post something on your school forum, like a Moodle or something like that. And the next one will be gesture. So gesture in easier language, paraphrase it, body language. So when you want to explain a more like complicated or abstract idea, try to use your body language to help students understand. Even if it's something very easy, you can like speak louder or like slower, okay, like this. Even the language itself, the audio itself is easy, but you are more like attractive to students to pay attention to at the same time. And the last one is spatial. So spatial related to space, right? So it's like how you arrange the space, how you arrange the text, the images, the sequence matters. For example, when I want to say the different modality of multimodal learning includes pictures, audio, writing and print, movement, facial expression, illustration, speech, music, gesture, colors. Okay, I finished this text. Do you remember what I said? You might forget, like in 5 seconds. However, if I put it in an image in a well-organized way, if I arrange the spatial better and I put images with that and also the linguistic input there with my explanation, it's easier for you to remember. Maybe not 10 of them, but after the presentation, you might be able to memorize at least 5 of the elements. So that's how the multimodality works. Okay, so that's the benefits of multimodal learning when you want to teach something. And actually, after I graduated, I realized this kind of method or theory not only works in the classroom, not only works when you want to be a teacher or being a TA. If you want to become like if you want to sell something or you want to do a presentation, you want to promote something to your boss in the future, probably. If you make use of multimodality, it's a very good communication skills that you will have for people to really get the idea, even though the language is not your first language. Okay, so do you understand what multimodality means now? Yes? Give me a thumb up if you understand. Great. So you see, like maybe more people understand what it means compared to 5 minutes ago. And that's the demonstration of how you can make use of multimodality. So believe it or not, you learned a new term that you didn't know before in English. Do you feel like I'm teaching English, the language? Not really. No, I'm not teaching the language, but I'm teaching this term using English as a medium. Okay, so there's a little things here, also very important, comprehension check. So at the end of any session or any discussion that you're leading in the class as a TA, make sure you do comprehension check. There's always like one or two people might be a little bit left or they feel confused. If you do comprehension check, on one hand, you can like help them to really catch up with on the like keep them on the track. And on the second thing is that you make them feel valued. And that's a very important element when it comes to teaching, like in the classroom. They feel valued, they feel seen, and that can help them to really keep working on, to keep participating in the class. Okay, and let me move on. And there are like some more techniques that I used before and I feel very effective that I would like to share. So as I demonstrating, I did use like paraphrasing and try to simplify the language. And when you feel like, oh, students are not with you, just try to paraphrase. Yeah, there's always some easier word that you can use to replace or to describe or to give definition to harder terms. Okay, and the second point is to ask for clarification. That happens a lot when I try to lead a group discussion in English, because there are some students that they are eager to share, but maybe they are not that fluent in English. So their like group mates can be a little bit, well, like, what do you mean? And they can be mean sometimes. So as a TA, you can like stand up and like to help him or her, okay, to ask for clarification. So, oh, do you mean blah, blah, blah? Instead of just cut it, like they stop them, interrupt them, or just to like give the correct answer right away by yourself, you can ask for the clarification. They will try to explain maybe slower, and that's a kind of like a process in their mind, and then they're able to give a better or like clearer, more clear answer. So this two thing is what I used a lot, like constantly in every classes. And the second part, I think as a TA, if you are selected to be a TA or in an EMI TA, or you are volunteer to be, I believe most of you have like certain proficiency in English. But one thing I really like care about, it's about the written text. So as a TA, I believe you need to like set the classroom platform or write a lot of email either to students or to invite some speakers, and you need to do it in English. So at least for those written texts that it will become a record on that, try to do grammar check. Okay, as a EMI TA, I think that's a very important part. And there are a lot of tools nowadays, and the most common tool, the most like accessible, easy to use, Grammarly, the first one, and ChatGPT or any kind of AI, just to make sure you, as representing an EMI courses, you are not making like not good mistakes in grammar, in English grammar. And the last thing is the resources, because I'm from NTNU, so I brought some kind of resources that our school provided. And I believe it's an open resources that you can access to like online. And the first one is called the Classroom English. And this is actually initially designed for bilingual classes, but it's also very useful for EMI TA. For example, when you want to, there are a lot of different contents, but I put it here is like when you need to lead group discussion, I believe is a very common task for TAs nowadays, that you can ask, what's the difference between plan and arrangement? What's the difference between A and B? So this is a sentence pattern that you can keep in mind. Or what are the advantages and disadvantages of the methods for this kind, so on and so forth. And or like the grouping practice, then now we will do a peer review activity, and then you can walk around and then explain to students, now you need to work in pairs or work in groups of 2 or 3 or 4, so on and so forth. And the second resources is the EMI handbook, which is relatively new. I believe it's like this year, March or May or something. It's very new. And there are like more contents like focusing on the tasks that TA needs to do. And there are, for example, the example that how you can write an announcement or an email that you need to put it in English. And there are like description or explanation in Chinese as well. And also there are like different kind of mindset that EMITA should have carry with. And there are also several things that I recommend if you really like want to become an outstanding EMITA, that you can look for this kind of resources. So last but not least, being a TA for so many times, and especially being an EMI TA, I feel like you can really get different like self-growth from different perspectives. The first one for sure is your communication skills. You have to work with the professors, the instructors, and you have to work with the students. For sure, you need to communicate with them a lot. So after a semester or a year, then you surely can get a better communication skills. And the second is how you adapt to different circumstances. Will surely grow as well, because there are always some kind of surprises that you will have, and then you have to adapt with that. And the third part is organization skills. So for sure, as a TA, it's just not just EMITA, but also as a TA, you can like organize a lot of different events or classroom activities that for sure can improve your organization and also leadership skills. And the next one is English proficiency. Yeah, so for sure, we need to use English a lot, and then you'll realize you're not only like teaching or supporting the students, at the same time, you're also like improving yourself, your own English proficiency. And also you can learn certain kinds of teaching methodologies. I think it's really good, because in our school, there are a lot of students who wants to be a teacher in the future. And probably some of you have that kind of dreams, probably. So observing the teachers, how they teach in English or how they lead the class when students are not able to catch up very quickly. This kind of observation also help you to get that. And the last point is confidence. So at the end of the day, you'll realize, oh, I'm able to do that. You can get that self-confidence a lot. Okay, and here are some like evaluation for TA I get before, so I can share with you. I'm very like grateful for students who wrote that. So this one, you have to respond or react to students or teachers' problem or their needs. Okay, or like connecting me and the lecture. That's what I really care about, and that's really echoes to the topic I have today. You have to be the bridge, and you have to connect yourself to end the lecture, and connect the students and the teacher, connect the language and the content. Okay, and the last part is my favorite quote. Okay, it's like, learn everything for one day, you will find nothing superfluous. Okay, paraphrase, superfluous means redundant, means excessive, means too much that you don't need. Okay, so nothing is too much that you don't need in the future. If you try to learn from every experience you have, maybe some of you are still undergraduate students, so I'm like an older auntie. Like I can give you some suggestions, like try to really seize every moment. And then being a TA, it's really a nice experience that maybe most of your classmates would not have that kind of experience. And try to apply for the outstanding TA program or something that really can be a plus on your CV when you just graduated at the age of 22. So that's all for my sharing today. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Molly. I think everyone learned a lot from your talk, and I think that's the reason why you got TA, and now I can understand. And you I think you will be a very nice teacher in the future, I think also.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we're gonna pass to our next speaker. We're gonna answer the Q&A in the end of the talk. So right now we're going to move to Anne Lin from National Chengchi University. She's going to talk about from language to leadership, English and teamwork skill. Let's give time to Anne. Hi.
Hello. Okay. So welcome everyone to join the online EMI TA forum, and thank you for Molly that she just mentioned about the multimodality and also give us some notification about the EMI TA handbook and also talk about a paraphrase. I think the presentation is very good and I have learned a lot from your presentation. So in my section, I will talk more about how to speak English with confidence and grace, and also how to be as a TA, and because when you are being a TA, you are actually the leader of the students. So I will talk more about how to be a leader for the students. So before going to the topic, I will do some short introduction about myself. My name is Anne, and my Chinese name is Lin En儀. Now I'm currently a sophomore student studying in Management Information System at National Chengchi University. So in my last semester, I've been the TA for the English Talks program in our school. So this ETP course is actually means that we have to do all the interaction and discuss it entirely in English. So I'm being the TA for this course. And I want to just mention how did I become a TA. So the thing is really fun that actually, I served as TA and as a classmate at the same time. So my responsibility of being the TA is to lead a microfilm premiere with my classmates. So here are some photos below. So I organize a team, then we hold like one of the biggest events in the end of semester. So over 100 people attended, and this just ended very successfully. So I want to say that although I'm not like other TA who mainly help the student to solve their academic question, my TA duty was more like to connect between the students and the professor. So this is the points that I will mention more in my files. So through this experience, I learned two things that I wanted to share with you today. So let's begin with our topic, from language to leadership, English and teamwork skills. So let's begin with the first one. I want to say that although I'm not like Molly that have a lot of experience of being the TA, I only be a TA for once. I think people here like you is aspiring to be a TA. So I will, from my own experience, and tell you how can you overcome when you be the first time of your life of being a TA. So I'm here to maybe give you some experience. If you have any TA chance in your later life, it will be helpful with you. So let's begin with the oral communication skills. We all know that English is our second language, so it is not easy for anyone. And I understood this point more after I became the TA. So you can see in the left side of page, there are three big stones. So these three big stones like symbolize the barrier, the difficulties, the things that I faced. So let's begin with the bottom big orange stones. This stone is called the difficulty expressing ideas in English. So I'm just like I mentioned, I'm the leaders for the team, and I'm also the TA. So actually, I have a lot of experience of being a leader. I know what to do next. I know how to do next. I know when to do next, and I know how to give instruction to my teammates. And also, there are a clear mind. I know what to do, but when I want to express these complex ideas in English, it's become very difficult because I barely use English a lot. So sometimes I'm going to squeeze out the vocabularies or squeeze up a sentence. It is very difficult for me to do this in the meeting. So it's end up to involve these two stones on the top of the orange stone. The first yellow stone is stand for the fear of being misunderstood. So I remember when I've been the TA, when I've been a leader, that all eyes are watching at me, including my teammates and also the professor. They're just looking at me and listen to my imperfect English. So of course, I'm so scared that I cannot express my idea very clear, so no one can understand what I'm saying. Maybe they will even ignore my idea and they don't know what to do, or maybe they're scared of doing wrong things. So this is involved to the greenstone on the top, the wasting team's times. So I'm so scared that because it's like the end of the semester. So you know that college students in the end of the semester, people are very busy. There are a lot of team projects to do, or they have a lot of final exam. There are a lot of club or other activities that they need to join, but they are still wasting their time, like join with me. So I feel self-doubt about that. Am I have the right to stand up here to lead others? Am I a good leader? Am I blah blah blah? I'm not. A lot of self-doubts came into my mind. So after my professor knew my situation, he gave me some encouragement. So here are some improvements I make through these fragile stones that is kind of exist. Okay, so here are some challenges that I overcome. That begin with the expressing ideas. Just the expressing idea is called about the difficulty expressing ideas in English. So what I've done is to well prepare before every meeting or every discussion. So I prepare a lot of vocabulary and key phrases before I join the meeting. So for example, like I have to talk about the MC, the 主持人, or talk about the venue manager, the 场务管理人员. So I have to know this word, so make my teammate know I'm calling her, I'm calling him, or I'm talking to them and make them to notice me. The second point is fear of misunderstanding. So sometimes I see people who be the team, so they will say that they are not good enough or they are not blah 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 enough. But I think sometimes we cannot be too harsh for ourselves, especially when you've been the first time being the EMI TA. You cannot be too harsh to yourself. You have to recognize yourself and trying to encourage yourself so that you can speak better. Because when you're trying to be confident and being brave, actually your students or your teammates will listen to you, so you can prevent the sin of wasting time. So I want to conclude that the fear of making mistake was much bigger than the mistakes themselves. Just like Molly said earlier, she said that to speak a broken language is okay. The thing is that you have to identify and minimize the language barrier. So when you become the first time of being the TA, you just try your best to show your ability and try your best to do anything that you want. So, and then you will be the one you dream to be. So next part, I will going to talk about the position of leader. And at that time, I faced two challenges. The first one is same level challenge. The second one is build authority and trust. So just like I mentioned earlier, I be the TA, the leader, and also the classmates at the same time. So actually, although I'm the TA, but actually other classmates are at the same level with me because they are all freshmen as me. So, but at the same time, I have to build authority and trust to make them listen to me, and I will give them instruction. But at the same time, I want to be friends with them. So this is the dilemma I face. Then I want to show you how I do with this. So here's my 4 solutions. I have team equality, trust building, involvement, balance, and progress check. So let's begin with the bottom blue called the progress check. So what I do is to ask my teammates to show me their first 1/3 of their work. So I can make sure that if the 1/3 is correct, I think it's on the right track. And if not correct, I can offer help if they need it. So, but for the last 2/3 of their work, they can still have freedom to do what they want to do. The second one is involvement balance. So I will always remind myself to stay involved, but not to stay inside. since we are like the same age, so I don't want to stand inside and think that I'm kind of judging them or trying to control them. So I will give them freedom to do what they want to do since I have checked the first 1/3 of the progress. For the third part is trust building. So I try myself to focus on friendly relationship for open communication with my friends. So I want my teammates to know that I'm here to help, not to judge. Although I'm the leader, but I'm here and we work together. So this can make us to complete a lot of tasks together. The last one is team equality. So I always remind myself that I learn and grow with my teammates together. So I join the discussion, listen to their opinions, and also respect for their ideas. So for this 4 solution I just mentioned, it's make me a better leader and also make our team work more effective, and we can have a lot of good result at the end. To conclude, I want to say that a TA is not just someone who helps the teacher. TA is also a leader for the students. Although that I'm not helping the students strictly, but I think when I'm helping my teammate, I think I'm the leader. So I think when TA trying to help students, actually TA are students' leaders. So at the end, I want to talk about the 4 qualities of good teacher assistant have to have. The first one is emphasis. So when we are being a TA, actually we are also being a student, and we need to know how to understand the obstacles that the student will face and trying to support them and trying to help them with their challenge they face. So the main thing is that you have to try to stand in the scene that they might to have and trying to help them. The second one is clear communication. So when you've been as a leader or like as a TA, you have to show your confidence and tell them very clear and exactly when you are trying to explain the task or answer any question, or even do the constant comprehension check that Molly just mentioned. So this can help the student know what you're saying, and if they have any question, they can respond to you, and which can make you two all grow together. The third part is responsibility. I think when you are being the TA, you have to be responsible enough. So you have to care and concern about the class, especially for the team leaders, because now we have a lot of team projects to do. So when you are being the TA, you have to concern about the leader of every group. So make sure that they are doing the right thing and trying to be nice, trying to smile at them, and don't be like you have the authority or you are way up better than them. Just don't make the TA and the student been too far away. So the last point I want to say is the progress checking. So just like I mentioned, when I'm working with the group, I will ask them to show me the first 1/3 of their work, so I can make sure that they are doing the right thing. So when you are being a TA and you are trying to help the student with the team project, you can do the same thing as well. So this can ensure they are in the right direction, and in the end, when the professor sees the results, the professor will be happy because the professor knows that you are in the right, the students are in the right way, and of course, students will be happy because they will get a high quality because you have shown them and guided them. So here's the end of my presentation. So I hope I can help people who aspire to be the TA. I mean that when you are being first time of TA, you just don't have to be scared. You just try to show your best to the others, and you will be improve and improve. So thank you for your listening.
Okay, thank you, Annie. Thanks for your sharing, and also now it's time for QA and for Molly and for Annie. So if you have any question related to TA, feel free to asking question. And right now we have a Slido, so you can using that asking question if you're afraid to using microphone. Also, we're using different modality to help. Any question from the audience? That's very common in my class. The class is always silence. Then I'm the TA for this class, so I'm going to asking question for the audience. So apparently there's a group of students in the class. They're always silent. Sometimes they are afraid to asking for help. So as a TA, how are you going to approach those people, and how are you going to report it to the teachers and see what they need from this group of silent students? Maybe Molly or Annie can answer this for me.
So for the silent student, because the class I work with is more like a PBL classroom, they work in group. So when we had a group discussion, I will like purposely work to those like more quiet groups and then try to ask them. Because when you are like having a one-on-one conversation, or I'm just asking you, I'm looking into your face, they would not like likely to keep silent when I approach to them. So you can like observe first, and then you can walk toward them, and then to raise more questions and to lead them, and then you will like encourage them to speak up when the teachers ask questions. And I sometimes heard like a very good point, and I will like secretly told the professor, oh, that group has a very great idea, and then you can ask them later. And that really helps students to build more courage and more like motivation to participate more in class. And also the second point is that you can like chat with students during the break times. They like, because they see you as a student as well. You are a student in that school, so they are more open to you compared to the professors. So you can ask them, oh, class, why are you so tired today? What happened? Or why didn't you submit the assignment like that? And you can like more like a friend chatting with them, and they can tell you their difficulties, and then you can tell the teachers, and then they can like adjust a bit in class. And that's my opinion.
Okay, thank you, Molly. Do you have any suggestion?
I think I very agree with what Molly just said. But what I will do is maybe I will make them in a circle, and I will ask them to try to discuss together, or make them to give them the paper and they can draw something with. They don't have to speak up, but trying to draw what they say, because sometimes they are very scared of speaking out. So maybe although maybe they have a very clear thing to do, but they are too afraid to talk about. So I would ask them to draw a paper, and we can discuss later.
Okay, thank you, Annie and Molly, and hopefully my TA is also here, because if I can be just like a TA like Molly or Annie, that would be awesome. Apparently, some of the students, just like our TA, online TA stuff right now, they are afraid to ask in front of public, but they just using the words to asking questions. So currently we have two questions. For the first one, for all speakers, in your opinion, what is the best solution to start discussion in the class? Anyone want to? Yeah, Molly?
For me, first, to give a very clear instruction is very important. So students, first of all, need to know what they need to discuss, because I feel like sometimes the problem is that they don't even know what they need to talk about, what they need to focus on. So giving a clear instruction is important. And the second part is giving examples. Whenever it comes to teaching, you can like share your opinion first. So today we need to discuss the pros and cons of education in Taiwan, for example. And then for me personally, I feel like the pros are blah, blah, blah. The cons are blah, blah, blah. What about you? Based on your personal experience, you can share anything you want with your students, with your classmates. I mean, so that's a way that you can like to lead and to spark their thought in the beginning of a discussion.
Thank you, Molly. And Annie?
I think when you are being the TA and you are given the to try to start a discussion, the thing you have to do is, I think you have to make your file or to make your page more so clear. So what I would do is to do a very clear picture to know what to do and what to start and which step to go so that every student can understand it.
Yeah, thank you, Annie. And from my personal experience, because right now I'm TA for this session right now. So I think I will start with an open-end question, and instead of just answer yes, no, something like that, maybe give them some options so they can discuss. And once they talk, they will begin to bring more answer to that. Okay, let's move to the second question. How to improve your confidence to speak up in every case in class, especially for discussion sessions, show up in the front of the class and answer. Anyone? Molly or Annie?
Yeah. I think it really needs practice, because you have to build that kind of confidence, like to give a public speech. The first time or the first 3 times can be very terrifying, but you can try to like slow down your pace because you are not speaking in your first language probably, and then just slow down and think before you say. And then I think to create a very like friendly, welcoming classroom environment, like start for yourself, and then when you pass down the microphone to the students, they are able to understand that, okay, so it's all right to not speaking like a perfect language, a perfect English. It's okay to speak slowly. It's okay to have a slower pace, just to like demonstrate yourself first. So how can you improve your confidence? Just to practice to speak a lot, or you can like try to chat with your roommate or friends in English first, just to like get used to the feeling of speaking or thinking in English. Yeah.
Annie?
For me, when you are want to improve the confidence, the thing is that you have to talk with the mirror. So when you are seeing the mirror as the people when you are trying to talk about, and how to come up with the discussion, the thing is that if you are too scared, you can just look at the one place in the classroom, just stare at one place and smile at it, and don't look around and make you feel like you are so nervous, and just do the best as you can, and always practice, always make perfect.
Yeah, I think practice make it perfect. And my first experience in TA is in United States. My first class over there, and actually, at that time I'm almost terrified. It's a snowy storm day, and my professor cannot show up due to a snowstorm, and I'm the only one there. And I just arrived States for a couple of days, and I asked my professor, what should I teach? That something you have confidence. So that's a drug delivery system class. And guess what I'm teaching? I'm teaching about Taiwan, the food in Taiwan and all the stuff. And they might build the connection with the students. And so later in the last of the class, I can discuss with some of the drug delivery system actually. But in the beginning, I just build up the connection with the students. And once you think the student is not your enemy, but your friends, then you can share your idea with them, even with your language. I mean, different language, even gesture. I think that's the thing. And also know the culture difference. And when they know you, they will give you, more respect, because they know you are from a very far away, and you try to communicate with them using your limited language. And I think then we become a very good friend to the students. And I really appreciate that situation, that my professor just pushed me into that situation. There's no return. The show must go on. So I must showing up. So then you get confident later. Okay, now we have another question. No? Oh, yeah. Do you have any funny moment happen in class during your time as a TA? Okay, I think you got Molly and Annie, you got a lot of fans right now. They want to know more about your funny moment.
The first thing that came to my mind, it's like funny but a little bit embarrassing for me, is that because that course had a lot of international students coming from different countries. So there was one student that he tried to speak to me, but I just couldn't understand like totally what he was talking about because he has a relatively strong accent. And for me, I just like, oh, could you please repeat again? So he repeated. But after the second time, I still couldn't get it. I couldn't even guess because I just didn't understand at all. So it's really like just couldn't get it. Can you like try to use another way to explain? And at the end, he just used Google Translator, and then oh yeah, that's the idea. So these things happen a lot, or like sometimes. So it just like it's okay. Be open-minded to any kind of situation. It's quite funny, but also I realized that I'm actually experiencing the multiculturalism right now. Like we have different ways of speaking English. There's no like standard, and you should be like learn or train yourself to understand, to comprehend different English accent. Yeah.
Okay, so for my funny moments in the TA is that actually we have discussed our premiere online, and last time is very late at night. So we hold up a Google meeting room like today, but because over 1 hour, so the Google Meet just shut down by itself. Then I opened another one and asked people to join in, but at that time I didn't close my camera. So actually, because it's nice time, so actually I just finished washing my hair. So actually my hair is very wet, and I use a towel, and people just looking at me so embracing. So I just close the Google Meet, and then I open another after I close the camera.
Yeah, thank you, Annie. And actually, I found out like a student, they didn't remember the lecture I teaching, but they only remember the funny moments. Yeah, all the time. So yeah, that's sometimes funny moment is also not embarrassment, but it could be a group between you and your students. They have oh, the funny guy is here, something like that. Any question from the audience? Anyone want to turn on the microphone and asking? Don't be a silent student. Right now is a chance to meet with those two awesome TA.
If not, I actually have something. I'm always the talkative one. So
That's
I
good.
think I just like read the question again, and I suddenly thought of besides just like practicing speaking on the stage, there's also another thing that can prepare yourself better to speak in public, to speak in front of class, is to preview the materials from the professor. So maybe some of you become the TA because you took the course before, or some of you just like know the professor personally, so you like do to help the professor. So either way, you can just like before the course, maybe the previous night, you can read through the slides. You can ask the professor to send you that. I believe they will be like willing to do that. You can preview the materials, the content, and then you can think about what kind of connection you can make, and think about what opinions you have in English that can like lower the anxiety that you have to speak about the content in English on the next day. So that's a little tips that you can make use of. Yeah.
Thank you, Molly. I think that's a perfect answer. I wish my TA is here. Yeah, again. But sometimes my TA also did some wonderful thing, although he didn't study my slide, but sometimes the TA will remind me to upload the slide beforehand for the other. I think that also help. So I think the TA will be the mouse for the student, so they can ask the question to the professor for the students, and also be the eyes for the professor, so they can observe the students. For the professor who is totally blind and shocked by the EMI class, they already put all their energy in teaching EMI. They don't have time to observe the classroom. So I think the TA's job is to observe the students and tell professor what they need to improve. Okay, right now we have another question. How do you deal with forgetting sentence when you want to answer during a discussion in front of the class? That happened a lot for me. Okay, I need an answer from Molly and Annie.
Forgetting sentence, you mean like forgot like what you need to say or forget some terms? In that sense, just to paraphrase, use just like I mentioned before, use the easier way or kind of like relative idea to change the way you need to describe. I mean, there's always easier way to paraphrase what you want to say. As an English teacher, I can guarantee that. So it's like just to make sure you don't confuse yourself before you talk to others. That will be more confusing for the audience. Yes, just to paraphrase and simplify. That's the two key hints that I make use of before.
I think what I will do is when I was thinking, I have to try to repeat what I just said and ask if the audience understands what I just mentioned, do the comprehension check. And after some people trying to nod or something, and sometimes I just remember what I'm going to talk next.
Okay. Yeah, it happened a lot when you're getting older, so I got more experience. So sometimes actually just using paraphrasing and using simple words on even for the Taiwanese class, maybe you can using Mandarin to explain a little bit. It's also fine. But if you totally forgot what you're going to talk and you just talk to the students and just say, I'm sorry, I really forgot. But I will promise you, I will give you an answer next week. So don't just try to answer the wrong question or the wrong sentence. Just admit that you forgot them next week. But you remember their question, and next week you can answer it perfectly. Something.
Yeah, you can like kind of make fun of yourself. That's also a solution. Like, TA is not perfect. I also forget things. I'm also a student, So you use a like more relaxing way and then let it just flow. Then the next time you can like come back to the students for the answer.
Yeah. Oh, okay. It's almost time up, so we need to take a group photo. So right now is the best time for you to turn on the camera. Thank you. Thank you everybody who participated in this talk, and especially thanks to Molly and Annie, and really appreciate for your sharing. I learned a lot. I think all the other TA also learned a lot. Hopefully we can using that in our classroom. Thank you again. And right now, our TA will also have some like announcement. So.
Yeah, okay, so here is some important reminders. There are 35 students in this classroom, but when I check the attendance sheet, there are only like 24 students who sign in the sheet for attendance. So make sure you sign in the attendance sheet that we put in the chat box. And then there is also the feedback form for these sessions. So we would very much appreciate it if you could fill out the feedback form. Okay, so you can also scan the QR code if you want. And now is also the time for you to apply for your TA certification. And so remember that you have to attend at least 2 sessions and fill out the feedback form for that sessions. So you will get this certificate of participations, and because that's the requirements that you will need to get your TA certificate. So you need to participate at least 2 EMI TA training sessions and have this certificate of participation. So also remember that you guys all attend the orientation and complete the quiz and scored 100 on the quiz, so that you will also get this participation certificate for the orientation. So those are the requirements, are the documents that you need for getting your ENITA certificate. Okay. So any questions?
Okay, and I want to remind you guys about tomorrow's another EMITA training session. It's by the faculty from National Taiwan University, Professor Huang. He's going to think about EMI through perspective of gaming and exploring the classroom potential. Although right now the registration is full, but from my experience, a lot of people just register but never show up. So there's always some free lunchbox over there. So feel free to come to the IB 302 in person. Maybe you still can come to register and enjoy the talk and maybe some lunchbox. Yeah. So again, I would really want to thank Molly and Annie for their outstanding talk, and personally I learned a lot, and hopefully in the future they can still give us some talk and sharing to the other TA, even faculties. I think if you guys become a professor in the future, you will be outstanding professor.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye
Bye.
bye.
Bye.